Welcome to our Bible study. Today we delve into a pivotal moment in Jesus' ministry from the Gospel of Luke, chapter 4, verses 16 through 30. This passage describes Jesus' return to his hometown of Nazareth, where his bold claims about his identity are met not with faith, but with rejection. Let's explore these powerful verses together. Verse 16. Jesus came to Nazareth where he had grown up. As he had done before, he went into the Jewish place of worship on the day of rest. Then he stood up to read. This verse sets the scene, showing Jesus returning to his hometown. By going to the synagogue on the Sabbath, he shows his respect for Jewish tradition and custom. It was a familiar setting, but what he was about to do would challenge everything they thought they knew about him. Verse 17. Someone handed him the book of the early preacher Isaiah. He opened it and found the place where it was written. The scroll of Isaiah was a significant choice. Isaiah is filled with prophecies about the coming Messiah. Jesus deliberately selects a specific passage, not by chance, but to make a direct statement about his identity and mission. Verses 18 and 19, "The Spirit of the Lord is on me. He has put his hand on me to preach the good news to poor people. He has sent me to heal those with a sad heart. He has sent me to tell those who are being held that they can go free. He has sent me to make the blind to see and to free those who are held because of trouble. He sent me to tell of the time when men can receive favor with the Lord." Here, Jesus reads from Isaiah 61. This passage is a powerful declaration of the Messiah's mission, to bring hope to the poor, comfort to the heartbroken, freedom to captives, and sight to the blind. He is announcing a time of God's favor, a jubilee for all people. Verse 20, Jesus closed the book. Then he gave it back to the leader and sat down. All those in the Jewish place of worship kept their eyes on him. The tension in the room must have been immense. After reading such a profound prophecy, Jesus simply sits down, which was the posture of a teacher about to give a sermon. Every eye is fixed on him, waiting to hear how he will interpret this famous scripture. Verse 21. Then he began to say to them, "The holy writings you have just heard have been completed today." This is the dramatic climax. With this single sentence, Jesus applies this messianic prophecy directly to himself. He's not just talking about a future hope. He is declaring that he is the fulfillment of that hope right here and now. Verse 22. They all spoke well of Jesus and agreed with the words he spoke. He said, "Is not this the son of Joseph?" Initially, the crowd is impressed by his eloquent words, but their wonder quickly turns to skepticism. They can't see past the local boy they watched grow up. Their familiarity with his ordinary background blinds them to his divine identity. Verse 23. He said to them, "I wonder if you will tell this old saying to me, Doctor, heal yourself. What you did in the city of Capernaum, do in your own country." Jesus anticipates their doubt. He knows they are thinking, "If you're really the Messiah, prove it. Do the miracles here in your hometown that we've heard you did in Capernaum." He addresses the unspoken demand for a sign. Verse 24. He said, "A man who speaks for God is not respected in his own country." Jesus quotes a common proverb that a prophet is without honor in his own hometown. Those closest to him are often the most unwilling to recognize his authority, a painful truth that many who speak for God have experienced. Verses 25 and 26. It is true that there were many women whose husbands had died in the Jewish land when Elijah lived. For 3.5 years there was no rain, and there was very little food in the land. Elijah was sent to none of them, but he was sent to a woman in the city of Zarephath, in the land of Sidon. This woman's husband had died. Jesus now uses two examples from the Old Testament to make a radical point. He reminds them that during a great famine, the prophet Elijah was sent not to an Israelite widow, but to a Gentile woman in Sidon. God's grace was not limited by national or ethnic boundaries. Verse 27. There were many people in the Jewish land who had a bad skin disease when the early preacher Elisha lived. None of them was healed, but Naaman from the country of Syria was healed. His second example is just as provocative. The prophet Elisha healed Naaman, a commander of the Syrian army, an enemy of Israel, while many lepers in Israel remained unhealed. The message is clear. God's mercy extends to all who have faith, not just to the people of Israel. Verse 28. All those in the Jewish place of worship were angry when they heard his words. The crowd's initial admiration turns to fury. Jesus' suggestion that God's favor could extend to Gentiles was deeply offensive to their national pride. They understood he was implying they lacked the faith that these Gentiles had. Verse 29, They got up and took Jesus out of town to the top of a high hill. They wanted to throw him over the side. The rage of the crowd escalates to murderous intent. The very people who had just praised his words now drag him out of the city to execute him. This is a stark picture of how quickly unbelief can turn to violent rejection. Verse 30. But Jesus got away from among them and went on his way. In a moment of quiet divine authority, Jesus simply passes through the angry mob and escapes. His time had not yet come, and no one could take his life from him until he chose to lay it down. This event marks the end of his ministry in Nazareth and the beginning of his wider mission. I love reading your comments. Feel free to share your thoughts and reflections on this passage in the comments below. I will pray for you every day. Search for Jesus at HaroldSwaney for the complete library of my Bible study videos. Thank you, and God bless you.